Hi YouTubers. No parcel unboxing today. It's the 12th of March and today we lost a classic in the literature world, Pratchett. I'm a fan and I'm gonna just share what I loved about the Discworld novels and what I loved about Terry himself. So I first stumbled across the Discworld when I was at school, Swakeleys in Middlesex. School library, nothing much going on, and I picked up a copy of Witches Abroad, which is the 12th or 13th, I believe, in the Discworld series. And it was the cover that grabbed me. The fantastic designs by Kirby, and I started reading it because it looked interesting, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to read to the next chapter. Just finish the chapter and put the book down. And it was halfway through the book I realised that there were no chapters, and I was officially hooked. And it was the first fantasy book I ever read. I'm a geek, but I wasn't into fantasy. So the only thing I really remember from that book was Gollum showing up and being decked by Nanny Og and Death showing up. And at that moment, my geekling teenage mind blown, and I was officially a fan of the Discworld novels. So naturally, if you finished one, you got to try to find the rest, and well, I most certainly did. I read the majority of them, apart from the Tiffany Aiken books, because I like her, but I prefer the more adult Discworld stuff. But the one that really grabbed me was Guards, the first City Watch book. And it was amazing how Carrot was meant to be the lead, which was all good. Clearly the heir to the Ankh-Morpork Kingdom, long lost king, and you expect it to be a typical Discworld novel, and then in walked Samuel Vimes, and that was it. My favourite character of all. A Discworld book wasn't just a book, it was like you're going back to visit an old friend. You see their evolution, you see how they grow as characters. We saw Vimes going from a cynical, angry, depressed at the world, making a vigil to Bilious the Ogre of hangovers every night, to a reformed family man, his love for Lady Sybil, his adoration of his young son, and they became real. The Discworld, a flat world on the back of 4 elephants, on the back of a giant turtle called the Great Artuin, became as real to us as anything else in this world. And then a few years ago, Terry announced that he had Alzheimer's. Now, I was very, very lucky. I met Terry Pratchett several times, and he was a marvellous man. Not just a marvellous writer, a marvellous man. He got to know his audience. He was big on social network. He loved his fans. He loved people who appreciated his work, but he would talk to anyone. I went to signings where he would spend 5 minutes talking to the person in front because he was generally interested in people. And he was very, very funny. He was a very, very funny man. He was a genius. He is a genius. He took something in this world as in, well, hooliganism and presented us the Discworld version of it. He took ideas set down by Tolkien about elves and goblins and orcs and reinvented them. And Seen Academicals is one of his best books because of it, because hooliganism is a terrible, terrible thing, But in the Discworld universe, it's slightly hysterical at the same time. As authors, as they write, they grow, they evolve themselves. One of his first books was called Strata. Lacking in prose style, lacking in technique, but on every page is the ingredients for the Discworld novels. It just hasn't fallen into place yet. Discworld itself, I always felt it didn't fall into place until Mort, the fourth one. And before then it was just a parody of fantasy or sword and sorcery. But with Mort, you got to know Death as a human. Well, Death as a human actually came in Reaper Man, as when he was Bildor. But you got to know more of the world. You kind of got the feel of it. Everything fell into place. And then he announced he had Alzheimer's, and it all changed. And that was difficult for us fans, because suddenly this beautiful man with his beautiful mind would slowly lose that, and would make an appointment with the Reaper Man before he should, and it seemed unfair. And Terry, being Terry, was the professional that he always was, needing to work, having to work, putting more books out there. I'm not going to sit here and say all his books are fantastic. Some of them I'm not fans of. They're fantastic books, but I'm a fan of Eight More Pork. I'm a fan of The Watch. A friend of mine will only read the Lanka Witches. Another one will only read about the wizards. That's fine. I do not like pyramids. I personally did not like making money, even though I absolutely adored going postal. And then it came to his last book, but one, Snuff. And with Snuff, if you read it, and if you haven't, please do, it felt like he was closing the door on some of his characters. With Nobby Nobbs, the big what the hell is Nobby Nobbs that have been going on for over 20 years seems suddenly to become established. No spoilers, but when you realise it, it's kind of obvious as well. Closing the door on his characters, kind of putting them to the back. He brought in newer characters with Moist von Ludwig, but it just seemed a finality with Snuff. Brilliant book though. His last Discworld book is this one here. Well, apart from that Tiffany Aiken book, which I haven't read, Raising Steam. And I bought it, and I've never got past the first 20 pages because I didn't want to let go, and I was scared that I'd have to, which is a strange thing to say, but when the series is over, it's over. Even though the Discworld is not over, and I will now read this. The sad thing is about losing Terry is the potential that we lost as well. Now, I always envisioned my two favourite characters, which is Susan Stowe-Hewitt, eventually joining the Assassin's Guild, because I thought she'd be fantastic at it. She would be a natural assassin. Just the idea of Susan, Death's granddaughter, becoming an assassin, and Death having to go up against her. In my head, it was fantastic. It was epic. It was... the very idea of it would have been marvellous. And my second storyline that I always wanted to see was, once again, Sam Vimes, who is a character often pushed almost to the edge. And as the series goes on, he develops his own primal fear of something happening to his young son, Sam. Also, young Sam. Sam Vimes' nightmare was an empty bed where his son should be, and I always imagined what would happen in the series if that would happen. to see Sam Vimes taken to the very edge. The summoning dark, his base instincts just pushed her. As a character, it would have been absolutely amazing to read, absolutely heartbreaking to read, and it was what I always wanted to see happen, and how it would affect him afterwards. Now, the Discworld itself will continue. It's been mentioned more than once that Rhiannon Pratchett, Terry's daughter, has taken over. And I feel so sorry right now for her. Today she lost her father from a terrible, terrible disease that robs the mind of itself. And now she's inherited a terrible burden called the Discworld series. Rhiannon, you're going to be fantastic. Okay? The fans out there will love your work as much as your father's. And it's just not fair though, is it? For you, for us. At the age of 66, we've lost Terry Pratchett. And it's going to get better, but it's going to take some time. The literary world will not be the same without a Discworld novel out each year. So, anyway, sorry. So, for those out there who are watching this, thank you. I just wanted to say what I wanted to say. And to Sir Terry Pratchett, thank you for the Discworld. Thank you for Truckers. Thank you for creating this beautiful world, which we all enjoyed. Thank you, Sir Terry.